Let's jump forward in time. Picture it. It's 2026. The great enterprise AI revolution that was promised back in 2025? Well, it's stalled. Trillions of tokens are flying around, GPU farms are humming away, but everywhere you look, brilliant AI prototypes are trapped. They're stuck in this endless, frustrating loop of demos. Now, this isn't a story about AI failing. No, it's a story about a failure of memory, about forgetting what we already knew.
So to figure out how to escape this demo hell, we have to follow the evidence. We're going to start at the scene of the crime, AI's great stagnation. Then we'll look at the seductive but, deeply flawed idea that led us all down this rabbit hole. From there, we'll uncover the real bottleneck, the hidden culprit that's strangling all this progress. And finally, we'll map out the path forward, a much smarter way to think about retrieval.
All right, let's get right into it. The first thing we have to do is just call it what it is. A systemic failure that technical leaders everywhere are grappling with right now.
Think about it. There's been this massive investment in large language models and this shiny new vector databases to feed them. But this really frustrating pattern has popped up. Teams build these incredible demos, right? They answer questions perfectly in a nice, clean, controlled environment. But the moment these systems face the messy, chaotic, constantly changing reality of enterprise data, they just fall apart. So what's going on here?
Nick Chase has this perfect phrase for it, pilot purgatory. And that's exactly what it feels like. You're just perpetually stuck in the pilot phase. You keep buying more tools, but you never actually ship anything. You never make real progress. And what's so crucial to understand is that this isn't just some technical glitch. No, it's a symptom of a much, much deeper strategic mistake. And that mistake? Well, it started with an idea that was just so elegant, so simple, and so dangerously incomplete. We were all seduced by the vector.
The magic trick that captivated all of us was called semantic search. It's this ability to find information based on its actual meaning, its conceptual vibe, instead of just matching the exact words you typed. I mean, we all saw those demos and we just fell in love. It was this promise that we could finally find what we meant, not just what we typed.
And this belief kicked off a complete gold rush. The strategy seems so obvious. Just turn every single document, every email, every spreadsheet into a vector, and then just dump it all into a database. We honestly thought this one elegant move would make decades of really complex, really difficult search engineering totally obsolete. We were dead wrong.
Because the messy, ugly truth of enterprise data, all its different formats, the constant updates, the complex rules about who can see what, it just shattered that simplistic dream. This is where Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG, the whole process of giving language models access to our data, just slammed into a brick wall.
So here's the absolute heart of the problem. In our excitement for this new vibes-based search, we forgot 40 years of information retrieval science. We forgot that precise, old-fashioned keyword search exists for a really good reason. You see, semantic search is amazing for finding things that are conceptually similar. But what if you need to find a specific product ID, or a line in a legal contract, or a part number? For that, you don't need vibes, you need a scalpel. And that's what lexical search gives you.
And this just lays out the consequences perfectly. When you rely only on vector vibes, your system is basically designed to fail. First, you get retrieval failure. The system just can't find the exact piece of text it needs. Then you get selection failure. It finds documents that are kind of on topic, but they don't actually have the answer. And finally, you get generation failure. The language model, fed all this vague, ambiguous junk, just starts making things up. It hallucinates, stitching together nonsense into a confident, plausible, and completely wrong answer.
So, how do we get out of this mess? How do we escape demo hell? Well, the answer isn't a fancier LLM or a more cleverly written prompt. It's a better system. It's time to resurrect the forgotten art of search engineering.
This single insight from Pavan Piletti's changes everything. It reframes the entire problem. We have to stop thinking of RAG as just a single magical call to an AI. We have to start seeing it for what it is, a multi-stage, industrial-grade pipeline, a real systems engineering challenge.
And the very first stage of this pipeline is about bringing back that forgotten wisdom. Hybrid search gives you the best of both worlds. You get the surgical precision of keyword search to nail those specific terms, and you get the conceptual reach of vector search to find related ideas. You're not trading one for the other. You're getting both precision and recall.
Okay, so what's next? The next stage is all about quality control. Think of a re-ranker as a really smart, really tough bouncer at the door. It takes all the documents that the hybrid search found and it reorders them. asking one simple critical question. Which of these passages actually answers the user's question? Only the absolute best, most relevant evidence is allowed to get to the language model.
And here it is. This is the hero of our story. This is the production RAG pipeline. This is the system that gets you out of demo hell. It's this robust, multi-stage process. It starts with domain-aware chunking, intelligently breaking down documents to keep their meaning intact. Then it uses hybrid search with filters to get the best of both retrieval worlds. Next, that powerful cross-encoder re-ranker acts as the quality gate. After that, a prompt orchestration layer carefully builds the final prompt. And finally, the whole thing is wrapped in strict guardrails for policy and compliance. This isn't just a prompt. This is a factory for truth.
But you know, building a pipeline like this isn't just about getting better answers today. It is about protecting the integrity of our knowledge tomorrow. The long-term stakes here are way higher than most of us realize.
Let me ask you, what happens when our flawed RAG systems start writing our new documents? It's a scenario researchers are calling the AI 2026 problem, and it's a terrifying feedback loop. It goes like this. Bad retrieval leads to subtly wrong AI-generated text. That bad text then gets copied into our official knowledge bases and reports. And then, that polluted knowledge base becomes the ground truth we use to train the next generation of AIs. We are on the verge of creating a future where our own systems systematically corrupt our own collective memory.
And this means the entire RAG pipeline, the whole thing, has to be built on an absolute, rock-solid foundation of governance. It has to inherit every single one of your enterprise rules for data access. Every answer has to be auditable, with a clear citation pointing back to the source document. And the system has to be dynamic, constantly aware of how fresh the data is, so we're not answering today's critical questions with last year's outdated information.
So, when you put all of this together, it leads us to a really fundamental shift, a new paradigm for how we have to think about these systems.
The whole conversation has to change. The old view, the naive view, saw RAG as a language modeling problem. It was owned by the AI team, and the focus was all on the vector database. The new view, the production-ready view, sees RAG as an information retrieval and systems problem. The key component isn't the database, it's the multi-stage pipeline. The most important metric isn't just answer quality, it's retrieval precision, and ownership moves to the data platform and engineering teams.
This complete reframing forces us to ask a really provocative but I think very necessary question. Now that the language models themselves are becoming these powerful, reliable commodities, where's the real challenge? Where's the actual bottleneck now?
The answer, when you look at it this way, is crystal clear. The bottleneck has moved. The hard part is no longer generating the language. The hard part is retrieving the right piece of information reliably, securely, and efficiently every single time. The companies that are going to win in this next era, they won't be the ones with the cleverest prompts. They'll be the ones who finally remember and who master the forgotten science of search.